Hello, and welcome to English Practice and Mindset. My name is Chloe. It's a pleasure to have you here. I created this channel just for you, the dedicated learner who wants to speak English not just fluently, but confidently. Today, we are diving deep into a topic that will literally transform your English journey: 12 listening habits that make English fluency inevitable. Yes, inevitable. That means it must happen, and it will happen for you. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Chloe, I listen to English every day, but I still struggle to understand native speakers when they talk fast. Don't worry. The key is not how much you listen, but how you listen. That is where the English listening practice, or Prática da Escuta em Inglés, comes in. We will explore simple, yet powerful habits that turn listening from a chore into a superpower. This is a mindset shift. We're going beyond just playing a podcast in the background. We're going to talk about techniques like shadowing, which is a fantastic method for developing native-like rhythm and pronunciation. Learning English is an act of personal growth, and by the end of this episode, you'll have a clear, step-by-step plan to achieve your English goals. The 12 habits I will share are not the typical boring tips you find everywhere. For example, habit number 7 is something most people do every day, but they do it wrong. It's the one habit that can triple your listening comprehension, and it has nothing to do with grammar. And habit number 12? That one is a financial mindset secret that top business leaders use to stay focused, and you can apply it to your English study today. You cannot skip these. So, if you are ready to make fluency guaranteed inevitable, please take a quick second and subscribe to the channel right now. Hit that subscribe button. This ensures you won't miss any of our future mindset and English practice lessons.
Great.
Let's get started. Remember, I will speak slowly and clearly using American pronunciation so you can easily understand every word. Now, let's unlock the 12 habits. Habit number 1 is simple, but it requires deep mental commitment. It's called the 1-minute focus rule. Most English learners make a big mistake. They listen for 20 minutes, but their mind wanders for 15. That is wasted time. The 1-minute focus rule means you promise yourself to focus 100% for just 60 seconds. No checking your phone, no reading the subtitles, no thinking about dinner. Just 60 seconds of pure, intense listening to the English audio. When the minute is up, you can pause, take a deep breath, and then repeat the cycle. This habit builds your attention span. This connects perfectly to financial mindset. Think of your attention as money. When you invest money, you want the maximum return. When you invest your attention, you want maximum comprehension. Focusing completely for a short time is much better than focusing poorly for a long time. It's about quality over quantity. The practical action here is to set a timer for 1 minute. Listen to a short segment of your podcast or video. When you finish, ask yourself, what was the main idea of that 1 minute?
Just the main idea.
This helps your brain filter out unnecessary information. A key expression to practice here is to zone out. To zone out means to lose focus or stop paying attention. Our goal is to stop zoning out and stay in the zone for that 60 seconds. Start small. Master the minute. Our second essential habit is called the 2-time strategy. This is crucial for anyone from the basic to the intermediate level. It addresses the common frustration of missing details. When you listen to a video or a podcast for the first time, your brain is working hard just to catch the sounds and the general meaning. It is exhausting. So, do not expect to understand everything the first time. The two-time strategy means you always listen to the same piece of content 2 times. The first listening should be without any subtitles or transcripts. This is for the gist, the overall idea. You are practicing your praticada escuta em inglés for general comprehension. You should be relaxed and just accept that you will miss some words. This is a crucial mindset lesson. Perfection is the enemy of progress. If you expect perfection on the first try, you will feel discouraged and give up. The second listening is where the magic happens. On the second time, you can use the transcript or subtitles. This is when you connect the sounds you heard with the words you read. You will see words and phrases you thought you knew, but maybe you did not recognize them because of the fast rhythm or the American English linking sounds. This habit makes your brain create strong connections. The goal is clarity. A key old expression here is to get the hang of something. When you get the hang of something, it means you start to understand and become skilled at it. Using the two-time strategy helps you get the hang of fast English conversation. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself permission to listen twice. The third habit is about differentiating between 2 types of listening, active listening and passive listening. Both are useful, but you must know when to use each one. Active listening is like the first 2 habits we discussed. It's focused, intense, and requires your full brain power. This is where you make the greatest gains in comprehension. However, passive listening is also very valuable. This is when you play the English content, maybe a song, a TV show you love, or a simple podcast, while you are doing something else like washing the dishes, folding laundry, or walking. You are not actively trying to understand every word. You are simply letting the sounds, the rhythm, and the intonation of American English wash over your brain. This habit is fundamental for your mindset because it reduces the pressure. It makes English a part of your daily life, not just a study session. This concept connects directly to financial success, the idea of compound interest. Passive listening is like small, consistent deposits of English sounds into your brain bank. Each day, the sounds compound, and over weeks and months, you start to notice the rhythm becoming natural. You start to predict sentence structure without effort. This is fluency building passively. The key word here is exposure. You need maximum exposure to English. Do not underestimate the power of passive listening. But remember, passive listening never replaces active listening. You need both. A new key expression is to soak something up. If you soak up the sounds, it means you absorb them naturally, like a sponge. Soak up that English. Habit number 4 is perhaps the most powerful technique for connecting your listening to your speaking, the pronunciation mirror, also known as shadowing. This is what makes your praticada escuta em inglés active and productive. Shadowing means you listen to a very short segment of English, maybe just 3 or 4 seconds, and you immediately try to repeat it, imitating the speaker's rhythm, speed, and especially the American English pronunciation. You become a shadow of the speaker. This habit is not about understanding the meaning right away. It's about training your mouth, your tongue, and your ears to work together. Your mouth needs to learn the physical movements required to produce English sounds. This is the phonetics part of our lesson. Pay close attention to the way the speaker links words together. For example, a native speaker will usually not say, "Turn off the light," clearly separated. They might say it quickly, like, "Turn off the light." Shadowing trains your ear to recognize these connected sounds, and it trains your mouth to reproduce them naturally. In terms of mindset, shadowing is like deliberately practicing a difficult skill, much like a great investor practices a negotiation script until it is perfect. You are practicing the delivery of the language. Do not worry if you sound funny at first. The goal is improvement, not perfection. A key expression to focus on is to nail it. If you nail it, it means you do something perfectly or exactly right. Your goal is to nail the pronunciation and the intonation. Choose a simple sentence from a podcast, listen 3 times, and try to shadow it. You will be amazed at how quickly your speaking improves. Habit number 5 focuses on anticipation, which I call predict the next word. When you become a good listener, your brain does not just wait for the words to arrive. It actively guesses what the speaker is going to say next. This is true fluency. When you listen to English, especially content at your level, you should try to anticipate the verbs, nouns, or common phrases that follow what you just heard. This is a deep dive into the mindset of successful communication. Think about it. In finance and personal growth, the best decisions are often made by predicting outcomes. You look at trends and make an educated guess. English listening is the same. The more you are exposed to English, the more familiar you become with sentence patterns. For example, if you hear, "I decided to," your brain should immediately predict a verb like to go or to start or to invest. This makes the process much less stressful. To practice this, pause the audio, your podcast or video, at key moments, especially right before a verb or an adjective is used. Write down your prediction. Then, unpause the video and see if you were correct. Even if you are wrong, the act of trying to predict strengthens your connection to the language structure. This is also a fantastic way to review older vocabulary with new clarity. A key old expression here is to fill in the blanks. When you successfully fill in the blanks in a conversation, it means you can guess the missing information, showing true understanding and anticipation. Start predicting today. Habit number 6 is very important for moving past the intermediate stage. It's called the emotion detector. Many English learners focus only on the dictionary meaning of the words. But communication is much more than words. It is tone, rhythm, and emotion. You need to train your ear to detect the speaker's feelings. Is the speaker excited, confused, angry, or being sarcastic? The same sentence like, "Oh, that's great," can mean 3 different things depending on the tone of voice, which is called intonation. This habit is a core mindset skill. In the world of business and personal development, emotional intelligence, or EQ, is key to success. You must be able to read people's reactions. When you listen to a native speaker on a podcast or video, do not just focus on the words. Close your eyes for a moment and only pay attention to the musicality of the language. When a sentence goes up at the end, it often signals a question or surprise. When it goes down, it often signals certainty or finality. This focus on intonation is a high-level component of your pratica da escuta e mingles. The practical action is to choose a short dialogue and listen to it multiple times, asking yourself, what feeling is the speaker conveying? Try to imitate the tone exactly, even if you do not understand the words. You are training your ear and your voice simultaneously. A new, useful expression is to pick up on something. When you pick up on the emotion, it means you notice or detect it. You are aiming to pick up on the subtle cues of the American English speaker. This will make your understanding deeper and more natural. Habit number 7 is the one I promised you. The habit most people do every day, but they do it wrong. It is the pause and paraphrase rule. The wrong way to listen is to hear a complex idea, pause the audio, and immediately search for the translation of every single word you did not understand. If you do this, you are practicing translation, not listening comprehension. You are training your brain to rely on your native language, which slows down your path to fluency. The correct, mindset-focused way to use pause and paraphrase is this. When you pause a podcast or segment, do not grab a dictionary. Instead, try to paraphrase, explain the concept you just heard in simple English to yourself. What was the main idea? Can you explain it using only 5 or 6 very basic words? For example, if the speaker discusses saving money, you might say, "He says stop spending." This habit forces your brain to operate inside the English language structure, using the vocabulary you already possess. This is the financial mindset connection. Successful people use the resources they have, not the ones they wish they had. You use the English you have to explain the new concept. This triples your listening comprehension because it confirms understanding rather than just confirming translation. A clear, old expression to remember here is to get your point across. If you can get your point across or the speaker's point across, using simple English, you have truly understood the message. Use this correct pause and paraphrase method from now on. Habit number 8 is called the keyword capture system. When native speakers talk quickly, they do not give equal importance to every word. They stress the most important words, the nouns, the main verbs, and the adjectives, and they reduce or skip the less important words, like articles, a and they, and prepositions of in, on. Your ear, trained by years of your native language, tries to hear every word, and that causes fatigue and confusion. The keyword capture system teaches you to listen only for the keywords. These are the words that carry the meaning. Imagine you are listening to a financial podcast and the speaker says, "The government's decision to increase taxes will heavily impact small businesses." The keywords are government decision, increase, taxes, impact, businesses. If you catch those 6 words, you understand the entire sentence. The other words are just connectors. This is an essential English listening practice. The mindset connection here is about efficiency. Successful people do not waste time on low-value tasks. In English, low-value words for comprehension are the small connecting words. Focus your mental energy, your valuable attention, only on the keywords. This is like learning to read a map quickly, identifying only the major cities and roads. The practical action: grab a piece of paper and listen to a 2-minute clip. Try to write down only the keywords you hear. Do not worry about full sentences. A new key expression is to get the gist. To get the gist means to understand the main point or the essentials of something. By using the system, you always get the gist. Habit number 9 builds on the need for American English clarity and is called listen for connections. As I mentioned when we talked about shadowing, words in English rarely sound isolated when spoken by a native speaker. They connect. This is one of the main reasons why beginners, even those with good reading skills, struggle with listening. They expect to hear, "What are you going to do?" but they hear something more like, "What I gonna do?" This is where your phonetics focus is critical. You must stop listening for individual words and start listening for the linking sounds. When a word ends with a consonant sound and the next word starts with a vowel sound, they often merge. For example, it is important sounds like it is important. This is a tough habit to master, but it is necessary for fluency. The mindset lesson here is persistence. You are rewiring your brain's processing system. You must have the endurance to listen to the same linked phrase repeatedly until the new sound becomes normal. Think of this as long-term investment. Small, consistent work pays off big later. The practical action is to take 3 short, common phrases and dissect them. How does I'm gonna sound? How does coulda sound? Listen slowly and then listen fast. An old expression to remember is to figure something out. When you figure out the linking sounds, it means you finally understand them and your comprehension dramatically increases. This habit helps you figure out the real speed of English. Habit number 10 is the single source immersion. Many English learners try to listen to 5 different podcasts, 3 different YouTubers, and watch 10 different movies all in the same week. This scattergun approach is exhausting and slows down your progress. Your brain is constantly adjusting to new voices, new accents, and new vocabulary fields. This is not efficient prática de escuta em inglés. The single source immersion means you choose one speaker, one show, or one podcast that you enjoy, and you immerse yourself in it for at least 2 weeks. Listen to the same voice talking about similar topics like mindset or finance repeatedly. Why is this so effective? Your brain quickly adapts to the speaker's unique rhythm, their favorite expressions, and their specific pronunciation patterns, especially the subtle nuances of American English that we are focusing on. This is deeply connected to a mindset of mastery. In any field, from finance to fitness, true mastery comes from deep, focused practice, not broad, shallow exposure. By focusing on one source, you allow yourself to move from the intermediate struggle of understanding every word to the advanced stage of anticipating the speech. The practical action is to pick your favorite episode of an English-speaking podcast, perhaps an episode of English Practice and Mindset, and listen to it every day for 10 days. By the 10th day, you will feel like you know the speaker personally. A useful new expression to learn is to be tuned in. When you are tuned in to a speaker, you are completely focused and understand them easily. Tune in to your chosen source. Habit number 11 is a simple rule for content selection, the minimum vocabulary gap. This is vital for maintaining motivation and ensuring your listening practice is productive. The rule is this: you should understand at least 70% to 80% of the content without the transcript. If you only understand 40% of the words, the material is too difficult, and you will become discouraged and feel like you are failing. Choosing material that is too difficult is the biggest mistake you can make in the intermediate stage. It creates a vocabulary gap that is too wide to jump. You spend all your energy on deciphering individual words instead of understanding the flow of the ideas and the message of mindset. This is a critical self-awareness skill. The mindset of the minimum vocabulary gap is about building on success. When you understand 70% or 80%, you feel successful and your confidence grows. The unknown 20% is your learning zone. It is just enough challenge to introduce new vocabulary and expressions without overwhelming you. Use the subtitles only after the first listen to check the words in that 20%. The practical action is to test new material before you commit to it. Listen for 1 minute and gauge your understanding. If you understand most of it, keep listening. A common older expression is to bite off more than you can chew. If you choose material that is too hard, you are biting off more than you can chew.
Choose wisely.
Habit number 12 is the promised financial mindset secret that top business leaders use, and I call it the Daily Audit. In finance, an audit is a formal inspection of accounts to confirm their accuracy. In English learning, a daily audit means you must spend 5 minutes every day formally reviewing one mistake you made the day before. Most people only focus on new material. They listen to a new podcast every day and keep collecting new vocabulary lists. They never go back to solidify the old mistakes. This is like a business that keeps earning new money, but never fixes the leaks where the old money is escaping. This is the fundamental difference between making progress and maintaining progress. Your prática da escuta Ingles must include maintenance. The daily audit forces you to identify a specific phrase, a sound, or a word that confused you yesterday. You write it down, listen to it 3 times, shadow it perfectly, and then put the complete, clarified phrase into your notes. This small, consistent action seals the learning. The secret mindset here is loss prevention. Successful investors focus heavily on preventing losses, not just chasing new gains. In English, a mistake you do not correct is a permanent loss of clarity. By auditing and fixing yesterday's mistakes, you ensure that your foundation of understanding becomes stronger and stronger. The practical action. Before you start your listening today, open your notes and re-listen to the single most difficult phrase from yesterday's content. Master that one thing. A key old expression is to sweep it under the rug. If you sweep a mistake under the rug, it means you ignore it and hide it. We do not want to sweep our mistakes under the rug. We want to face them and fix them with the daily audit. So, those are the 12 listening habits that make English fluency inevitable. Think about that word. Inevitable. Your fluency is not a dream. It is a guaranteed outcome if you apply this mindset. We moved far beyond just turning on a podcast. We discussed how to listen with a 1-minute focus rule, how to use the 2-time strategy for clarity, and how to use shadowing to connect your ears and your mouth perfectly for American English pronunciation. We learned to capture keywords, detect emotion, and prevent losses with the daily audit. Every single habit we discussed today is a small adjustment that leads to a massive return on your learning investment. I want you to remember the financial mindset we discussed. Consistency is better than intensity. Do not try to do all 12 habits perfectly for 8 hours on Saturday. Instead, choose 3 of these habits, maybe the 1-minute focus, the 2-time strategy, and the daily audit, and apply them for just 30 minutes consistently every day this week. Small steps lead to guaranteed, inevitable progress. You are not just learning English. You are building a growth and development mindset that will serve you in every area of your life. Before we finish, please revisit the words we focused on today. Remember to get the gist, to soak something up, and especially the importance of not biting off more than you can chew. We want successful, clear prática da escuta Ingles. If this conversation, this podcast-style lesson, has given you even one new idea or strategy, please do me a huge favor. Take 1 second and subscribe to English Practice and Mindset right now. Hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you never miss another lesson with me, Chloe. Share this video with another person who wants to make their English fluency inevitable. Thank you so much for investing your time and your focus with me today. Remember, your success is just a habit away. I will see you in the next lesson. Bye for now.